Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality.
So it's that beautiful time of year again.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. No, it's not Christmas. Oh. Actually, it's not Christmas. It's a time of year where the big companies bring out their famous franchises, like EA bringing out FIFA and NHL, and of course, like clockwork, here's Activision, bringing out yet another Guitar Hero. But this time, it's Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock. I would have said that with a high-pitched metal voice.
Should have.
Should have, couldn't have. But is it really as rock and roll as I want us to believe?
Not quite, but that's because Activision is doing a really good PR job, so it would be really rocking if it... Never mind. It's a good Guitar Hero though. Most of all because they have rearranged the whole gameplay this time around, or the basics of it, I would say. The game is this time around built around story, which is that Demi-God of Rock has been beaten by the Beast, and I guess
I played it, but I can't help. I can't help.
And I guess the Beast represents everything that Rock is not, so pop and stuff like that.
If pop was a giant machine made of metal,
true,
it would have been the Beast.
So what you do is the usual stuff that you do in Guitar Hero. You play through these track sets, but the purpose this time around is that you unlock these warriors who's supposed to help the Demi-God of Rock, and to unlock their true potential, I would say, as rock beasts, you have to. It's so weird. You have to earn a certain number of stars, which unlocks the alter ego, which again will help the Demi-God of Rock. Of course, this is all just like an excuse for doing what you usually do. That's going through the set lists, unlocking new characters, unlocking new songs, and playing them as good as you can. The new thing this time around is that the characters all have like a certain special ability. Like for instance, Johnny Napalm, I believe it is, has this power where the multiplier will never go below 2. But the stupid thing about these powers is that you use them by just playing the game properly, like you usually would. So you are not making anything, or are not doing anything you wouldn't usually do. You just get these powers handed to you, and it goes, there you have it. Now the game is a bit easier, or now you can do this that you couldn't do before.
But of course, there's the quest mode with a deep storyline, and then there's, of course, as usual, quick play. Or Quick Play Plus,
yes,
as they call it.
There's what you usually find in the game, and luckily the option is still there to just go in and play the game. However, not all of the songs are unlocked from the start, which to me at least seems like a step back from the previous Guitar Hero and Rock Band games, where everything was more or less just unlocked from the start, and you can just pull your friends over and just say, hey, we want to play these songs, and just go ahead.
Of course, with the Warriors of Rock name and this deep storyline about the Beast and the Demi-God of Rock comes the music, which is, of course, quite important in Guitar Hero, I've heard.
Some would say.
And they've also said, of course, during the PR push for this game, that we've gone back to the roots, kind of Guitar Hero lost its soul and just started to pump out like pop songs and stuff like that. And instead they're going back to more to the guitar-driven metal part of the franchise back in the good old days. What do you think about the track list in general?
It ranges from what I would say really weak to just awesomely, insanely good. And it's kind of weird that they have used so much focus on saying that they're going back to the really hardcore like metal and stuff like that, because what I really like about the soundtrack is that they've actually introduced some good old-fashioned rock and roll, like Creedence, for instance, which is
Fortunate Son,
one
of their best tracks.
I mean, this is a perfect track for a game like this. But also Lunatic Fringe, which I was almost crying while playing this, and I've just been playing it repeatedly ever since I got the game. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, I mean,
Queen,
of course. there are some insanely good tracks in here, but what I really find strange is that it seems for every track pack that you unlock, track list that you unlock, there are like 3 or 4 really cool songs where you just sit there and go, yeah, they finally got it. And then there's like 1 or 2 tracks where you just sit and say, so there was this really cool guy who selected 4 of the tracks and this really strange PR guy who selected the last 2 ones. And that almost goes through for all the track lists, which I find kind of bothersome. But of course that's not a problem when you have unlocked them and can just play what you want.
No, and it should be said as well, especially for Europeans, it's kind of daring, some of the stuff they've done. They have Megadeth during the final song, for example, which, hey, sorry to say, but does anyone here care about Megadeth anymore? I'm so sorry. I'm gonna hide when the flames start coming in. Personally, it just felt, what? And also, which what I call daring is the fact that during the quest mode, you have to play through an entire album with Rush, from start to finish, with the storyline.
2112. I mean, I'm not the biggest Rush fan in the world.
I'm not a Rush fan
by
at
a long
all.
stretch, but I really like the introduction. I found it really daring, and it's, for those who haven't heard yet, it's like 20 minutes of an album that you actually play, and the whole thing is broken up by this story that's being told by the members of the band. And yes, while I'm not a big Rush fan, I really like this introduction because it's something completely new to the game. And it's something that I would just love to see with some of the bands that are more dear to my heart in the future. So I wasn't really enjoying the music, but I was enjoying the experience, and I would really like to see them continue that in the future. Yeah,
absolutely. The Rush part, I agree with. It's cool. With all this rock and all this metal comes the attitude.
Yeah.
What do you?
If Brutal Legend did rock and roll cool, Guitar Hero does it not cool.
It's uncool, dude.
I think so. The whole introduction of all the story and everything is fine by me, but they just haven't, angled it right. It comes off just cheesy in a really uncool way to me. But that's all fine because I just like playing the songs.
Yeah. But Bobby, are you missing Tim Schafer? Do you want him to come back?
Oh, mamma mia, let me go.